People all across the world are always looking for ways to increase the returns on their portfolio. But what if I told you the easy way to increase the returns in your portfolio is just by following some of your elected officials, right? Although they're not elected to get returns on your portfolio, you could do that, right? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday Finance Church. My name is Jimmy of the Black Wealth Rebels. I'm joined by my brothers Corey and Kamari. How are you gentlemen doing?
Morning.
Good morning.
Everybody good, man? You know, it's Sunday, you know, a long week, but we here, man. So what's going on, gentlemen?
I'm about to do the college run. I'm about to be a semi-empty nester.
Oh man. So tell us about that though. Which one of you this is your last kid going to school, right?
Yeah. This is my baby boy going to
baby
school.
Baby boy. So what school is he going to?
RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology.
I just want to brag on that, man, because that is an amazing accomplishment.
Very
man, that's a good school, man. So you know you.
I had never heard of it before.
Really?
Yep, I had never heard of it before.
I have. Is one of those schools.
Yeah, it's nice.
One of them.
And a lot of his robotics team are going there, so I see what's happening. So, but I think that's good. I will say this, like, I'm so proud of my son in so many ways. My son and my daughter, all my children. I got 3. Mm-hmm. But especially my son, right? Because in a lot of ways, he's me. But he's me with freedom. Meaning, like, one time they were doing, like, this fundraiser for his robotics team at a local place in the area. Mm-hmm. And my wife's there. And him and his homies broke out the chessboard. Now, I've always played chess, right? Mm-hmm. But we definitely weren't breaking on no chessboard at no gathering.
Was y'all pulling out dice or something else?
Trash talk, something else, who knows? But it wasn't chess.
Question though, right? So a couple of things, because I want you to explain what you mean by you, but with freedom. What do you mean by with freedom? You mean freedom to be him, or what are you saying when you say?
Correct. Freedom. So, I mean, environment plays a lot into who we become, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've been basically the same person my whole life, but I was on the chess team. Okay. None of my friends growing up though played chess.
Gotcha.
Right. And so it wasn't necessarily frowned upon, but it wasn't held in high esteem. And a lot of the things that I do now are not things that my friends are interested in. Gotcha. And so because people always say Kamari knows everybody, but is never at these events in Philly, right? Because I've done a lot.
By the way, I co-sign that Kamari does know everybody. Going around the city with Kamari is like being with a elected official.
But I don't look at those people as they're my friends. Mm-hmm. Now, if we become friends, for example, Jimmy and Corey, right? Corey set this up. We got cool. He's like, yo, you got to be Jim. We got cool. Now we a brotherhood. Mm-hmm. But I'm usually not looking to make friends per se, if that makes sense.
Drake. All right, Drake.
No, seriously. Because I got a whole squad. Like, I got a squad 20, 30 deep, like, of people that we've known each other from.
I know. I pulled up on y'all Zoom. I was like, the fact that y'all still kick it together as well.
Right.
I mean, everybody got a crew, right? But
no, not everybody. No.
Everybody don't have a crew.
Well, no, let me finish. Let me finish what I was saying. But sometimes it might be 1 or 2 people, right? So I got friends that I grew up with forever. It's probably like 5 of us or whatever, but you got like 20, 30.
Right. And so that's very special in and of itself. I'm blessed. Like, so when I say this, I ain't trying to shit on nobody. I'm blessed. And so I don't feel the need to try to find extra friends or whatever. But again, if we vibe, if we cool, great. And so, you know, I look at my son and it's like, damn, he could do a lot of things that I didn't know I could do or wasn't aware I could do, or just be me or be him.
Let me ask you a question, right? So it sounds like, I don't think it's the wrong way, right? It sounds like you're a little bit jealous of him, right?
I'm not jealous. I am enamored, though.
Let me finish though. I was laughing because like Monica has this theory. She always talks about like if you're not a little bit jealous of the next generation, then you didn't do a good enough job, because you should be, right. You should put them in a space where they can do things that you were able to do.
They're supposed to be better than me. That's our job. If your goal isn't to make your children better, I think psychologically you might have an issue.
Hey, listen, what I'll tell you from life experience, some people be out here hating on their kids, yo.
They
Yo,
do.
most people don't like their kids, man. I work in schools, bro. Man, speaking of that, man, tomorrow's my first day back tomorrow, man. Tomorrow gonna be that's gonna be an MF, man.
First day out?
First day back tomorrow, man.
Nice.
I'm not looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it in one way because like I really only talk to y'all and them and my little, circle of friends. Like I really don't. I might talk to 10 people a month. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really. You laughing? I'm dead. I'm dead up. 10 people a month.
I believe you. But go finish your thought about people hating their kids, though.
I'm sorry.
Now finish your thought. You were going into thought about why people hate their kids. Like people actually.
Because they, like, you could tell by the way their children talk that there's nobody that has showed them enough love where they can be, free. Like these kids are saying things that they shouldn't have any idea to say. Like y'all been around my kids. Y'all understand that, like I'll be looking at the difference in my children and other children, and it's not because my children are smarter. They're just loved. Like I just don't.
You let them be kids.
Yeah, like they're children. Like my kids, they don't have adult responsibilities. They have responsibility. They don't have adult responsibility. They don't gotta worry about nothing adult because they're not there yet. I'm teaching them adult responsibility, but they don't have adult responsibility. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I was watching this yesterday. I literally watched the whole thing yesterday. I watched Titans. It's like the making of Hollywood. So it's a documentary series. It's on Netflix now. But it's a documentary series that goes over the history of Hollywood and how Hollywood came to be like this large business and what it is. And it goes back to the very beginning. So we're in the early 20th century, 1900s. And it's funny because it goes into the founding of Paramount, Fox Studios, and MGM, all the different things, right? In the history,
the cultural makeup of those companies is amazing to me, by the way,
and also the incestuous nature of how all they got together. But what was interesting in me watching that is like when they go into Fox, like so Fox is an actual person, although it's an entity now, but it's a person, right? But they talk about so he became the breadwinner of his family at like 9 years old, and such became the breadwinner of his family at 11 years old. I'm sitting there watching this like, couldn't imagine that kind of responsibility of being the breadwinner of your family at like 11 years old. Like it's obviously different time, right? Lifespans were different in a whole different world. But to see that is kind of
there were no child labor laws back in the 20s.
No, there weren't. No,
shout out to the unions. Like I know we talk a lot of trash about the unions, but that's the one thing.
No, I don't talk trash about the unions.
Not you. I'm saying, but we people in general talk a lot of trash about the union, but they don't recognize how much the unions have made quality of life better for people.
Here's a it's not even a hot take. I think that more wealth was created through the unions than anything else.
Not true.
Okay.
The government created more wealth than the unions.
You can say that all you want to, right? But the fact of the matter is, now it's kind of semantics because the unions force the government to take action. If the unions don't exist, the governments don't put those laws in place.
Yeah, but one thing that we don't talk enough about is corporate welfare. We always love to talk down about people getting SNAP or welfare.
But that's the government's fault too, though.
Yeah, no. But hear me out. But they like to demonize them. Everybody loves to jump on the bandwagon. Like Corey loves to say, people hate the poor. But they always say the poor are the reason for all the entitlement programs and everything going awry. But when you look at it dollar for dollar, corporations get away way more welfare than anybody else. But nobody talks about that. And I
agree, but that's not what I'm talking about, though. What I'm talking about is the actual wealth is created because you're forcing people. Just the idea, this one idea, and I can get into a number of ideas. But when you have collective bargaining and you force people to pay a certain wage or give certain benefits, that value, then you force legislation upon that. Without the unions, none of that. The unions, in my personal opinion, have created more wealth. When we had a middle class, because I don't think we do anymore, a lot of that was based upon union labor, right? organized labor, because labor being one of the agents of production, labor being one of the agents of production.
But
when you organize labor, go ahead.
But no, I'm talking just for dollar. That's all.
We had
when I started, I said unions created a better quality of life for people, and they do not get the credit for that. So you get no argument for me on that. No argument.
Because what I'm saying is, if you look at the history of unions, right, and then you look at because even organizations or jobs or things that aren't unions, a lot of that stuff came because unions forced it to happen, right? Child labor laws, the ability to, because think about it this way: if there was never a union or never any sort of organized labor, people would pay whatever they could get away with paying, right?
Agreed.
Anything. You would basically have slave labor if there was no unions, right?
Agreed.
So this is what I mean when I say that, and when you talk about the value that the government has created, a lot of that is based upon their hand, because you're dealing with organized labor. So they're one and the same. That's why I said it's kind of playing semantics when you say that, because the unions are the ones that are forcing their hand in a lot of places because it's organized.
We are, but I don't want to not belittle. I don't want to.
Malcolm told us, man, we're not outsmarted, we're not outgunned. We just
organized. I will agree with that. I will say this though: we can learn a lot from the unions. The Black community can learn a lot from the unions.
Anyway, man, shout out to all the unions out there, man. Now to say that is all positive, because there's negatives that come with that too. But this is not a show about unions. This is a show actually about Nancy Pelosi. And I know, how do we get into this? We're just having a conversation. But today we want to talk about Nancy Pelosi, her portfolio, and why many consider Nancy to be the greatest investor of this generation. That thumbnail is wild. What
do you mean? That's pure art right there, Ben. Pure art, high art.
That's great work right there. That's great work. That's absolutely great work. It's nefarious, but it's great work. All right, so here's what I want to start with, though. Right, I want to start by talking about the fact that right now they're talking of legislation. They're actually calling the Pelosi bill, where they want to. First of all, they're coming directly at her. They want to investigate her. So I'm gonna play something that y'all president said recently about Nancy Pelosi to start this conversation.
Nancy Pelosi should be.
Whoa. First of all, Kamar, you got to remove this.
I got it. I'll take it out.
Thank you, sir.
Nancy Pelosi should be investigated, because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street. It happened she knows exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be announced. She buys stock, and then the stock goes up after the announcement's made.
So he said, practically in the history of Wall Street. Now, to give you a little bit more context, here's some data about Nancy Pelosi and her investing and trading, right?
Of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is.
Hold up, what are you about to say?
Can you, as we start this off, can you tell people who she is, where she's from, what she does?
I mean, she's the Speaker of the House, right?
She's a senator from California.
Yeah, but she's almost like she's third in command if you look at from the president, right? So she's like number 3, and she has access to all sorts of information. She's been in office since 1987. They say her average salary is somewhere in the $180,000 range, and she's worth about $400 million.
And just to be factual, right? She's not a senator. She's a state representative. I mean, she's a congresswoman.
Congresswoman. Yep. But she's also the Speaker of the House. So.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But here's some more data for you about Nancy Pelosi.
Because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
So that's a little bit of data for you. Nancy is outperforming every hedge fund. She's outperforming who many people consider to be the greatest investor of all time. That's debatable, but she's outperforming she's outperforming all those folks, doing 70% returns. You realize that in Wall Street, right? If you're able to get 15, 16%, they'll put you like in the Hall of Fame. You're considered like a legend. She out here doing 70 pieces though.
But to be fair, like, and to put in context, technically it's not Nancy, it's her husband Paul. I know we talked about Nancy
No.
because she has the cachet, but her husband Paul allegedly is the one who's doing the investing and trading.
So all right, again, right? I'm not saying she's done anything wrong because I don't know what she does, but I mean, my thing is this, right? If Paul, right? Come on, man. Like, I was born at night, but not last night. Like, come on, man. Like, you gentlemen have spouses, man. Anyway, man, let's get into Nancy's portfolio. Let's get into Nancy's portfolio because that's always been her excuse. It's not me. But then you can actually draw parallels between some of the different committees that she sits on and trades that she makes. But I'm supposed to believe that's just Paul over here. Paul ain't got no data. Paul ain't got no information. Paul just out here like the rest of us using this. Paul on TradingView. Y'all think Paul really on TradingView looking at charts? Anyway, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Paul got a Bloomberg.
Okay, all right. So y'all think Paul's on his Bloomberg with the same information that come on.
No, not the same information, but he got some information from somewhere somehow.
Come on, man. What we talking about?
Look at Palo Alto Investments. That's their company.
Now, so let's look at her trade volume. And then last year she went absolutely ballistic, right? Excuse me, P. Because that's what some of the folks was calling him, Paul P. So Paulie P allegedly went crazy last year in 2024. When you look at the trade volume, so it's absolutely out of control. You can look at the trade volume by 3 years, and information technology, 69% of the overall portfolio is in tech. Next would be financials, then communications, then consumer discretion, and they have a small piece in industrials. Trade volume 164.21 million. So, and again, she's 84 years old. Wow, 84 years old. So let's dig in. Let's go a little bit more into what's going on with Nancy. Let's look at the actual trades in portfolio. All right, the last one that was filed was in July 9th, which was Broadcom. All right, so in Broadcom, they exercised 200 call options. So they exercise 200 call options. That's the other thing. They use a lot of options. They use a lot of leaps, and a lot of times they exercise because they're getting them at such a cheap rate. Amazon, you see Google, you see Nvidia, right? You see Tempest, Vistra, Apple, Nvidia, Palo Alto, which Corey just mentioned, Microsoft, right? So again, this is a stock purchase. They sold 5,000 shares of Microsoft in July. Purchased 10,000 shares of Nvidia in 2024. So in 2024, they purchased 10,000 shares of Nvidia. So they're probably, they're up on that. They're up about 41% on that. So yeah, this is, and here's Corey's point. Back in July of 2024, they purchased 20 call options just on Broadcom alone, and they're up 74% on that. 2024, they sold 2,500 shares of Tesla, 62.84%. Here's another one for you, Core. December of 2023, 50 call options on Nvidia. They made 228%. And again, they're dealing in the millions. They said this purchase was between $1 and $5 million, and they made 200% on that. So you can see how that net worth is doing gymnastics. You can see how
they doing. Listen, man. One brought back 2 and 2 brought back 3. 3 brought they out here moving, or they moving and grooving, man. They out here doing the most, baby.
So Jarrell says that her network gotta be crazy to get all the insider trades. I guess you said
it's about 250.
Her net worth.
Yeah.
Well, that's what this site says. I've heard everything from 250. I've heard as little as 200. I've heard as high as over 500. So because they're talking about the stock portfolio was worth 200. They said that they also got some stuff going on in the real estate space where they got like another couple $100 million in there. But hey,
but here's what's
interesting. Hashtag Chatty Patty. But go ahead though.
But here's what's interesting, right? So what committees does she sit on? She was on the Appropriations Committee and the Intelligence Committee, right? So to Corey's point, Cybersecurity firms a lot of times are entrenched in intelligence and appropriations. So,
All right, so here's the other part, right? This website, Quiver Quantitative, gives a lot of other information. One of the things they put on here is her corporate donors and the amount raised, and you can see the amount raised by years. You can see what the cash on hand is, what the spending is. But some of her top.
Jim must have got the pro membership.
I don't have the pro membership. The pro membership actually gives you more. It gives you their live stock portfolio, but this gives you their corporate sponsors and their donations. Like she just got some money from Pfizer.
Can you blow that up, Jim?
Let's see how.
I can't see. I need glasses. I can't see. God damn it!
All right, so go in. You can blow your own up, Paul. So you go in the computer and like
I got it.
maximize your screen. You may be able to see it. But I'm just going to read some of these her donors, right? So you have Verizon Communications. You have Aflac. Man, there's so many of them. This goes on and on. Verizon consistently gives bread. And the crazy part is some of these donations are literally a couple thousand, but they're consistently giving. Like Verizon right here, 3,000. Verizon here, another grand. Like, North.
And they probably give every cycle.
Yep, Comcast, BlackRock, Cisco, Goldman Sachs. Speaking of BlackRock, right? Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock, I just heard that he just got named the interim head of the World Economic Forum.
That's going to be interesting.
I'm like, hold up. So dude is the head of the World Economic Forum. He already runs Wall Street, and he got like a spot in the IMF. He's got to be the most powerful man in the world. Like, it's also scary. But that's a side note. That's nothing to do with Nancy, other than the fact that they donate to Nancy. AT&T, she gets guap from AT&T and Verizon. They both
and Comcast.
This reminds me of one of the most underrated movies of all time, right? Which is Distinguished Gentleman.
Oh, I thought you was going to say bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. That movie.
No. Distinguished Gentleman is an underrated movie because it's a comedy, but it's a lot of reality in it. When he's fundraising and he's like, "Well, I can get you money from them." He's like, "I don't believe in that." Okay, so let's go over here and get it from them, or we can get it from both of them. Like, so she's getting money from competitors like DaVita, Visa, Delta Airlines, Google, Honeywell, DaVita, you name it. All the companies we know of are contributing. Duke Energy. Somebody just bought them up a couple weeks ago. Don did. Don was talking about he got a position. Duke Energy.
They got a nice dividend.
There's Corey's favorite company there. P&G, CVS, Cigna, Ally Financial. So, I mean, it goes on and on. It goes on and on. I'm not going to sit here and read all of them to you, but the bottom line is T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. So the bottom line is you can see that a lot of these are the donors. Now, what other information do you have on this website? Proposed legislation.
Real quick, Jim. This is the lesson, though. I think, like, as you study, y'all, I know y'all deplete the same. We can do a lot of the same things as a community. A lot of times we get caught up in just one party or just one person. When you look at this, and if you go through the reports of other politicians, they're getting money from Republicans, from Democrats, doesn't matter. The businesses are doing what's in their best interest and funding those who are in their best interest.
So here's the thing, right? So what's interesting about that, and I already know what your pushback is going to be, but a lot of our folks have tried that, and they get called.
They have not. That's a lie.
No, they do, and then they get called grifters.
I didn't even finish saying what I was going to say. He told me they haven't. What do you mean they haven't?
Our people have not tried that.
As a collective, probably not. But there are several individuals. Robert Johnson. Listen, I can go to Bob Johnson donates to both sides every year.
Okay, but again, you just said it. You gave it away as a collective, or at least a group. We don't have groups that play both sides of the aisle. We should.
So again, look at Robert Smith political donations, right?
Robert Smith is an individual.
I understand that, but I'm pretty sure that if I did the digging, I can find a group, whether that's a sorority, fraternity, something. So what are the groups we're speaking of, right? That's the first part. The first question is, what groups are you
NAACP, Urban League, the Divine Nine, like
NAACP, all those you talking about, all those old guard groups that been sold the farm. So
yeah, but those are the ones who understand politics the most, right? But they don't play the game at the highest of levels.
So how can you say both things?
They don't understand it.
By saying that, you can't say both things. They don't understand it the most because if they did, they would be playing it at the highest levels, right?
You know what I'm saying? You're being contrarian intentionally.
I'm
So
not being contrarian.
my point is they have, hold on, listen. They have been involved in politics the most out of any organization in the Black community, speaking generally, but they're not playing at the highest level. And so I feel this shows that there are people playing a game that most of us don't even understand, don't even have a clue about what's going on.
Now, hear me out. Being involved and understanding are two different things, right?
Correct.
They can be involved in something for however long they want to. It doesn't mean that they understand it, right?
That's correct.
I work with people that have been in the business. Corey, you all right over there, bro?
Yeah, man. My foot is aching like a mug, man.
I'm like, why Corey? I'm like, you go off screen and use my foot. I thought Corey was looking like Muhammad Ali when he was ready to burn down Georgia during the Olympics. But anyway, man. But anyway, what I was saying is, I do know that there are people within the industry I work in who've been involved in the industry forever, and they still don't know what's going on, right? So just because you've been in this space doesn't mean you understand. Because and I'm not disagreeing with your point about that they should do it. But what I'm saying is they haven't done it, which means that either they don't fully understand or they're so emotional moving one way that they're not even willing to play ball, right?
Or they've been brought off.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, things are for sale. America is for sale. The land is for sale. The politicians are for sale. Everything is for sale in this country, right? And other people are getting their agenda put forth. Now, the question is, in terms of this conversation about her portfolio, we could talk about her different holdings and see how you guys feel about it. But what do you think about the overall legislation, right? Because I know we've had this debate before, and I know Corey had the standpoint that he wanted his politicians to be able to trade. But Kamari, what do you feel? Corey, do you still have that opinion, for one? And Kamari, I want you to answer that. What do you think about the legislation in terms of people in Congress, in the Senate, being able to just do what they want to do?
Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, all right. I mean, personally, yes. I want my politicians to be able to trade and do all of that kind of stuff because they're easier to control that way. I'm just going to keep it a sour. We are not exercising that control, but we have every opportunity to exercise that control. We just don't. So, I mean, yeah, I would personally prefer that, but with the way the system is right now, I understand why people don't want it to, because the companies are the differential between what the companies are doing and what community action PACs and all of that stuff are able to do is so vast that people are like, look, we need to get rid of it just so we can have the opportunity to catch up. So I get.
Yeah, and I know last time we had this conversation, I disagree with you then, and I still disagree. I don't think they should be able to. I think there's certain positions that when you take that position, you know that you can't do these other things, right? And if you're here to serve the people, right? Now, if you're saying that, I don't want to stop, maybe you shouldn't have that job then. Go do something else, right? Because, we're not operating on an equal playing field. Not that we ever were and not that we ever will be. But this is like blatant in your face. And it's like, it's out of control. To me, it's so far gone, it's out of control. I don't think they should be able to, right? I know that even when I remember when Obama became president and they were going through his portfolio, and he was forced to kind of put everything into bonds or mutual funds or something like that. He wasn't able to even have individual holdings. You know what I mean? And it's fine. He got a job over here to do this. There's a certain level of power that comes with those positions anyway. So why do you even need? It's just at this point to me is greed. The greed is crazy because her specific situation. The reason that she became almost a meme is because of how egregious it was. The greed just doesn't stop. She probably could have made a third of what she made, still would have been relatively wealthy, and it wouldn't have become a meme the way it is at this point. The greed is just out of control, in my personal opinion. Now, Kamari, I would love to hear what you got to say.
So to answer your question, do I want them to be able to trade? Sure, I want them to have whatever privileges any other citizen should have. However, when you are in these positions of powers, they should be regulated, because what happens is they manipulate and pimp and maneuver things for their benefit and only their benefit, and it's not for the benefit of the people. It's actually been proved to be not in the best interest of the people. I mean, if we use Pelosi, like I said, she's on appropriations and intelligence. So the appropriations committee directs the check. They direct where contracts go, right? They know where all the money goes. Intelligence knows all the other dirt. They know where all the bodies are, right? So now you have this person in its position that has all these things, can do all these things. Who's going to stop her? Who going to check me, boo? Right.
And I feel like there's another part too where I start to question whether whether you do have our best interests at heart, right? I know that even on a local level, I've read. I remember specifically reading when our district attorney got indicted, and I was just reading the articles, and it was talking about how there were so many red flags in terms of his finances before he took the position that maybe that should have been looked at then.
Yep.
Because what tends to happen is when you are getting all this kind of money and information, you become vulnerable, right? Because now you're in.
You are vulnerable.
Yes, you're right. You are vulnerable. You are vulnerable. So, she's getting all this defense money. Like, if you go through our list and see all the defense money, like, how do I know you're making decisions that are at the best for the people? And I'm not like singling her out because I think this goes across the board. Because if I remember correctly, when they did the numbers, there was another gentleman who doesn't really get brought up who made way more money than she did.
Well, let's be clear. She gets brought up because she's or was the Speaker of the House because the Democrats are no longer in control. The Republicans are, and Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House now.
This is true.
But she was, right? So she was always involved in everything, and she got mean because she was in the center. She's in the mix. So when you get that kind of attention, you want to get that screwed.
No, you're right. What I'm saying is there are other folks that they laying low. They laying low, running the bag.
All of them are.
And they probably pointing at her like, you see what Nancy's doing. You know what I mean? Like, so she's become the poster child for this, but she's not alone in doing that. But I just feel like for me, the way I look at it is, if you're there to serve, you're there to serve, right? If you're working in a different sector and you got information, that's different. But
I would almost say that most elected officials, just speaking generally, are not there to serve because you can actually do more as a private citizen for the people a lot of times than you can do as an elected official. Now, I know we can debate that.
Yeah, that's debatable.
No, but power is usually not in the elected officials' hands. It's usually in the hands of the people who know how to wield power. And there's a difference.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, one of the reasons that I professionally got into the space I got into, initially I was a political science major and thought I was going into politics. But your point, and when I realized that, okay, so there's other parts of this but I don't know that that's necessarily right. So what happens if we get the private funding out of politics? Like, how does that change things? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that you're right in your assessment of how things work. But
let me timestamp that.
Wow. But I also,
Martin's right.
Let me finish my point. I think your assessment of how things work is accurate, but I often question whether that's the best way to have things work, if that makes any sense. Like, that is how things work, but should it work that way is the question I have.
Oh man, can we cue up the Marlo quote? You think it's one way.
No, you want it to be one way, but the other way. I don't know that I want it to be anyway. It's one of those things where a lot of, I guess I should have been a philosopher. I just question things. It's not that I have the answer, but
listen, it is what it is, man. And this is what's happening. And so I agree with you, right? So I'm going to publicly timestamp this, say Jimmy's right. It's not in the best interest of the people. And I don't know that any people in these positions can really work for the best interest of the people if the people are not fully activated, meaning you always need a check and balance.
Well, that's the thing. So what we're talking about is accountability. Accountability.
Yep.
And the thing is, we don't hold them accountable for pretty much anything. And but even beyond that, I think several people
they don't have a lot of integrity, right? So they're not going to hold themselves accountable. But I will say this: when it's time for the hammers to come out, they broke into their crib and hit Paul upside the head with a hammer. So they also get some scrutiny, and their life is in danger as well.
I agree. Now, the other part about it is this, though. This is why the media, right? Media plays such an important role in the infrastructure of everything we got going on, because you need people to hold people accountable. And a lot of times, historically speaking, it's been media, but there's also been an attack on the media too, right? Because that's been manipulated. So it's crazy times we're living in. But people have to be held accountable for whatever it is that they do, right, wrong, or indifferent, right? Nobody's perfect, but sometimes people are out here just really just taking advantage of situations. So we got to make sure we hold people accountable. I know locally, I've had people ask me questions about like local politics, and they ask like, well, I don't even know where to get the information in terms of what they're voting for or who's funding them or all those kind of things, right? You know, and this information you can find a committee of 70 and all that, but people are asking questions like, I want to hold them accountable, but I don't even know what I'm holding them accountable for. And I think
Only
that's
because it's a full-time job.
well, I think sometimes that's intentional too, where a lot of information is kept from the people, which is why I say that media plays such an important part of like this whole ecosystem.
I again, no disagree.
A couple times, go ahead.
But to this point, yeah, I do want to get to like let's talk about the investments, but people are inherently lazy. And again, I say that with a grain of salt because I also realize people got to work jobs. They busy. They got families to take care of. And so it's hard to try to dig into data. But all this data is actually public. People, me and Jimmy, were at city council meeting for our sister Tracy. We all can go to city council meetings. The transcripts are available. Years ago, I wanted to create like a watchdog type thing where you rank where people are in their votes or on how they represent the Black community in these areas and give them a grade. Because again, the only way to get real accountability has got to come from the outside.
What stopped you from doing it? We can do that now. Yeah, I can create a model for that. That's I'm sorry.
Let's talk offline.
All right. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about some of her specific trades, and then we'll get into the comments. Let's spend a couple minutes just talking about some of her specific trades, and because this is not going to give you the portfolio, but it will tell you the trades. To get the portfolio, you got the paid version. Also, another quick data point, right? Going back to 2014, SPY. This goes back to May 16th of 2014 until today, August 17th of 2025. If you would have invested in SPY, you would have made 242.16%, which is amazing, by the way, right? And that's the whole thing about SPY, right? If you just buy the S&P over a long period of time, you're going to get that chicken. But here's the flip, right? If you would have taken Nancy Pelosi's strategy, her trades and buy and holds, you would have made 744.79%. So since May of 2014, she's done more than 3 times the biggest index, to S&P, which is tracks the market. She's done more than
300%. Jeez.
More than 3 times.
So
that just tells you how profitable they're calling it, the Nancy Pelosi strategy. How many people have access to run the Nancy Pelosi strategy? Now, here's what I will say. Since she's become memeable and this has become a meme, there are people that have just basically taken those trades and they've made a lot of money doing so, which is also interesting. So with that
very
being
dangerous.
It is because the timing can be off when you try to do that.
Yep.
But when you look at some of these holdings, right? Let's talk about the portfolio overall, gentlemen. When you look at 69% being well, hold on, this can't be accurate. I'm looking at this, right? This is more than 100%. So
well, let's do this, Jim. I got her top 5. Her
you
top
got
5.
top 5.
Yeah,
All right,
her top 5. So her
it.
top 5, number 1. Well, no, let me go in reverse order. her top five.
Okay.
It's Tempest AI. TEM is a ticker symbol. It's an AI help play that doubled in value shortly after Pelosi acquired call options. So she loves the call game. Funny, we talk about options often. Its traction in genomics and major operation deals are pushing sharp gains. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5. Number 4, Alphabet, aka Google. All right, so that's another tech giant, frequent options trade focal point for them. Pelosi's recent call positions in option in Alphabet, backed by growth in cloud, AI, and digital services, make them one of the key performers. All right. Number 3. Can anybody guess number 3?
Number 3, NVIDIA.
No, Amazon, but you're not off, Jim. You're not off. Amazon, a consistent mega cap tech staple in the portfolio. Amazon's strong revenue / and income growth in AWS. AWS is Amazon's cloud services and advertising, because now Amazon's got advertising. makes it a core performer. Reporting similar lists it among her top holdings. All right. Number 2, Corey just brought this up. Anybody remember number 2? Corey brought it up.
Palo Alto Holdings.
Yep. Call options worth between $600K and $1.5 million, saw a return nearly
her husband's company.
$2.8 million shortly after earnings and national security briefing surfaced. So clearly there is some tinge of insider trading with that. Now, Corey, does her husband own that, work there, started it? Give us some color on that.
That's so Sal, I think it's either her husband or her brother-in-law, Sal Pelosi. It's either her brother or brother-in-law, something, but a family member, a very, very close family member, was the founder of Palo Alto.
Okay, all right. Number 1, Jimmy just said it. NVIDIA. All right, so it's a standout win. Approximately 2.4 million early call option surged in value to over $7.2 million.
So I don't think he was the founder. I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it now, trying to see what the correlation is. The founder is Rajiv Batra, Nir Zulik. So it's like 4 guys that were founders. He's not none of the founders. I'm trying to figure out what the connection is. There's got to be some sort of connection.
No, it's some. Just look up Sal Pelosi in Palo Alto.
Okay. But anyway, so I did figure out what that why that's not 100%. Remember I said it's more than 100%. So
because they're using leverage.
What it's doing is no. It's giving you the number of trades. She's made 182 trades.
Okay.
So this is not a percentage. It's just giving you total numbers. Out of those 182 trades, 69 of them were in the tech sector. 28 were in the finance sector. 26 of the trades were in the communications services sector. 13 were consumer discretionary, and 3 were industrial trades. So that's out of her number of trades. That's what the trades were. So most of her trades, close to a huge percentage. If you're talking about a total of 182? So 182 total trades, and 69 were in the tech sector. So
on average, she trades once every 2 days.
Yeah. So about 63% of those trades are tech trades. So heavy in the tech sector.
And where's her district at?
Yeah, that is her district. Her district is in where all the tech resides within our country, right? You can draw so many parallels.
That's where the money resides.
Right. And so it's funny, right? Because they've like fought back in terms of like being able to like just stop investing and trading the way they do. They've always fought against it. And now recently, with all the scrutiny, they're like, okay, we can get some sort of legislation. But I'm like, if you ran the bag up to $500 million, I guess you are okay with now just saying, okay, everybody that comes after me, y'all can't do what I did, right? You know, it's kind of effed up. But I do think some sort of legislation has to happen. I think it will happen. Because the last time what happened was they had to make their trades public. Remember, and now the previous one was you just have to disclose it. But when they disclose it, it's like months after. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like it's already actually happened. But I was thinking about when you talked about like their holdings in Amazon. I mean, Amazon, dog. It's funny, right? So Rite Aid is closing, right? So everything that I've had, like, you know, any sort of like, that was kind of the pharmacy I went to because Rite Aid's everywhere around Philly. So I got a call from them saying, hey, like, you know, we're going through our list and, you know, your listing in here is being a customer, blah, blah, blah. You have to move. You don't have any prescriptions, but you have to move with your doctor. If you do get a prescription, that it has to go somewhere else. It can't come here. So I'm looking around, like, you know, trying to figure out where am I doing? I don't know. I don't need you right now. That's what I'm going to do. So click the button. Amazon was like, hey, we take all Rite Aid customers. So I clicked the button. Within a couple pushes, they contacted them, did everything. So now Amazon is listed, you know, on my records as my pharmacy. And I'm sitting there thinking about the fact, like, oh, all right, so they're my pharmacy. I pretty much buy everything from them. And I'm like, what part of my life are they not infiltrated at this point? Then I'm driving down Spring Garden Street. Did you see the new Amazon store?
Is that the one at Broad Spring Garden?
No, dog, it's not at Broad Spring. It's at what's that like? That's like 6th in Spring Garden. There's a big. I
No.
thought it's a whole store, like a whole market. It's an Amazon market. They didn't even use the Whole Foods brand. It's an Amazon market, right?
Wow.
And now they're right at 6 in Spring Garden, which means that even from a delivery standpoint, they can get stuff to you fast. I was like, yo, to think that this all grew out of selling books online blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind, Pauls. And it's like, I don't know what part of life they haven't infiltrated yet. But I also wonder what growth is left in the company. I don't know.
Man, there's plenty of growth left. Like nobody thought it, like you said, they started with books, but now AWS is pushing their profits crazy.
Yeah, they
Right?
are.
They there's more than there's
I mean,
more.
listen, I'm top T, so Amazon's one of the top holders. They call me young top T, man. I'm young top T out here, man. So, listen, so my thing is, I'm gonna have my Amazon exposure. I'm a student of Mr. Earl, man. And Mr.
So hold
Earl,
on, Jimmy. I want to give you your props real quick. I want to give you your props. So I'm on the phone with one of the brokerage accounts that I'm dealing with, and I just sold out of a bunch of mutual funds. And
before you finish this, let's put this on the big screen because I gotta hear you give me my props. Go ahead, though.
I'm giving Jimmy his props, right? He made me look good. So I'm on the phone with some of my brokerage accounts that I'm dealing with. And so I just sold out of some mutual funds because they weren't doing anything. Plus, I hate mutual funds. ETFs are a much better solution. And so I got some cash sitting there in the rep. So I have to call. I can't trade in this account because of the way it's set up. I have to call. So the guy's like, so what are you going to do with all this cash in there? I said, well, I'll probably get 3 to 4, somewhere between 3 and 7 ETFs. He's like, oh, really? Which ones are you thinking about? I said, Jimmy, top T. I bet. And then I pulled the Corey. I said, I'm thinking about this ultra call joint, MSTY. And then, one of my favorite income producing ETFs is the one called PFF. And that is not an investment recommendation, y'all.
Yeah, nothing we say here is investment advice at all.
This is nothing.
I'm just top T, just my favorite. It just is what it is, man.
Yep. And so he was like, wow. He was like, that's different. I said, well, yeah, I'm previous Series 7. I'm an investment advisor. Previously did institutional management. And he's like, oh, so is there anything you guys can help for me do? I'm like, not really. What's up with your lending? How can I do some liquidity lending based on my portfolio?
No,
we'll get back to you.
No, so I mean, you get Amazon exposure through that. And again, I was just thinking about Amazon overall, but you make a great point, right? In terms of thinking about what growth is left, like they've always found a way. So we got to figure out how they find a way moving forward. But
I'm gonna give Jimmy. Hold on, let me give you some more props, right? Whoa. So Jimmy is a data scientist. He always says that, right? He lets us know. He says the data doesn't reflect something, so we should always go back and look at the data. And what is Amazon a king of? Data.
No, that's true. They are.
Yep.
Matter of fact, let's take a look at Amazon and see where they're. Let me see if I can pull it up because I don't know if I'm on TradingView on this specific computer. Because what I was trying to do is see. Let me see super charts. I think I am logged in. Even if I'm not, I think I can still get it. I want to pull up and see in terms of Amazon, where is that Amazon that gives you? Yeah, here it is.
And I bet if you look at Amazon, right, I bet they still are spending a large amount of money, and you can see this on their income statement, on research and development. So they are still looking for opportunities. So, again, that's something else that we can do as individuals as well. What research and development are we doing on ourselves and our businesses as well? So,
all right. So here's what I'm gonna share with you guys real fast while we having this conversation. I just pulled up some data on Amazon, right? And this is the financials of Amazon. So what we're looking at is where they make their money. So most of it's still online stores, right? So about 38.72% come from the online stores. Look at this one. This is crazy. 24.48% from third-party seller services. So they're basically running this for other people. Amazon Web Service is 16.86%. Advertising, 8.8%. Subscription Only 6.96%. So they still got a lot they can grow. They can still grow their subscription a lot.
Prom day.
Yeah, that's part of it. So physical stores, right? And again, I just told you it's one at like 6 in Spring Garden that, and the crazy part is, bro, they have a brand too, because it just opened literally last week. And I was riding down there. There was a line around the corner waiting to be for the people to be the first people to enter their store. I was like, damn.
Now, are these the stores that are there's no cashiers, employee-less stores? Everything's AI and robotics, I believe.
All right, so there's a whole controversy surrounding that too. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But no, this is there may be some robot. I haven't been inside yet,
Okay.
but I will go this week. Just to be Joe familiar. I will go this week to check it out. Now it's research because we just talked about it on the show. So now everything I buy is a write-off, right?
I didn't say that.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. All right. Anyway,
you can make a lot of things. You can make a lot of things a write-off.
All right, my fault. So anyway, but getting back to your point about those stores, so there was some controversy. You could find this. It's a lot of it's on YouTube a lot too. Those stores where they were supposed to be like everything run by robots and AI. A lot of that was pure cap. They had cameras in there, right? And they had people overseas who were literally watching everything you grab and tallying it up and then sending it. So there really was no AI. That was all cap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, it was all cap. It was all cap. So, but getting back to this real fast, and then we can talk about the Amazon's cap. You can see that they're making money in different spaces. The thing that's interesting to me is they're only getting 7% from subscriptions. I haven't looked at this in a while. I would have thought that would have been higher, but it also, to me, shows room for growth because they're making the Prime membership more valuable by adding so many things to it, like from the video, the Prime Day stuff, the free shipping, and a lot of things you get. Even when I move my prescription over there, because I'm Prime, you get certain benefits and all that. So they're making that a valuable membership. It's almost like back in the day when everybody wanted to have an Amex because all the things that came with it. You know what I mean? So I see some room for growth there as well. And also the physical stores, right? So we're a big city. We're one of the top 10 cities in the country, and we just got a big store. So I'm pretty sure there's probably room for growth there as well. But I also wonder because this one, they used the Amazon brand. They didn't use Whole Foods because they own Whole Foods as well. So, but anyway, that's a nice little breakdown of how Amazon makes their money and what growth is left there. But I just want to bring them up because I'm like, they dominate everywhere. Let me see if I can find some information about Amazon's stores because it made the news and everything. It kind of like got swept over. So it was a complete scam. Let me see if I can find one. Here we go. Here's a quick video. Let me share this with you real fast, Kamari, while we here.
Well, not me, with the people. I don't matter in this context.
You do matter. You do matter, but I'm gonna share it with you. Cool. All right, tell me what you can see on the screen.
Go do what you gotta do, good brother.
This is the last thing. We about to get out of here. Let me share this with you, and we're gonna get out of here.
No, but thank you for that, Corey.
All right, here we go.
Another business story that is kind of funny, to be honest with you. Let's put this up on the screen. So you may recall that Amazon rolled out with great fanfare these quote unquote just walk out grocery stores where you go in, you just put the stuff in your cart. They allegedly had this high tech that was scanning things as you were placing them in your cart. You walk out, it charges your card, you get your receipt, you're done. You don't even have to go through a checkout line. Well, they just announced that they're killing this just walk out tech. And the reason is because it never actually really worked. In reality, this, sophisticated AI, et cetera, was really powered by somewhere around 1,000 human beings who were watching, checking what you were putting in your basket and making sure that you were getting charged for the right things, who were based in India. So shoppers were reporting, you can come back up on me at this point.
All right, so that's the gist of it. And they came up with
Everything's a scam. Everything's a scam.
So
Everybody's scamming.
So basically, Amazon is from Atlanta, y'all. All right. With that being said, though, so we talked about Nancy's portfolio. We talked about whether it should actually be able to exist. We talked a little bit about Amazon. Let's get into these comments before we get out of here, man. And Champ is in the building, Thunder's in the building. So Thunder said he's somebody he ain't got no crew. And we talked about having crews.
But real quick, question for everybody, right? Do y'all think y'all can invest like Nancy? Do you see any value in following Nancy's investment strategy? Put that in the chat. Tell me what y'all think.
Hey, Latia. Latia says, peace,
Hey,
love,
Latia.
and abundance from Philly. Jarrell, I'm late. What's up, Jarrell? She's been insider trading. She was the reason Tesla got the money to save them in 2008 under Obama. She probably had some shares too. All right. Cookie, what's up, Cookie?
What up, Cookie?
Shout out to Lawrence. We got the legend Lawrence in the building. Well, I'm not following the Pelosi stocks. People shouldn't overtly on index and chill. My investment performance is higher than the S&P over the last 7 years. So, Lawrence, I would disagree to a certain extent, right? And here's why I say that. You personally probably shouldn't, because you have a skill set. Most people aren't going to take time or energy to do any sort of research and information. So that's why I think most people probably should index and chill. You're different, right? So I think that you have to take that into account. Most people I talk to don't even know how to actually buy stock. So for them getting in the market, they're not going to be able to do any sort of research and get any information. Watch your plays and adjust your plays if you want to stay financially. Most people aren't going to do that, though. That's the thing. People aren't going to do that. I used to be in the NAACP when I was young. Those organizations sold black people out a long time ago and represent other races now.
Well, the funny thing is they always represented other races, but that's all in the conversation.
White politicians, they're cooking up stock wealth. Most of the black politicians have no clue how to build wealth. Check out their trades and net worth. It's interesting to see the difference. Also, they would get held to it. They would get crucified in a whole different way if that popped up. Serve the people, and also tell the people that relying on income alone is not going to help you. That's what I was referring to with networks, like her social circle. Since she's that close to the mix, she and Paulie P get most info. He's saying basically like, I wonder what her friends, her crew is probably running a bag up.
I mean, so it shows that your network is your net worth. I mean, I know that's cliche these days, but there's some truth to it.
Super facts. All right, Noah says, what's up, Noah? Y'all think since they got so much bread in the market, they can manipulate it to where it move up and down in their favor. So it's funny because they have bread in the market, but in the grand scheme of things, they ain't got a lot of bread in the market, right? You know what I mean? Like there's levels in the words of Meek. But
Meek is a prophet with that song, by the way. So Jim, real quick, I'm just looking at Amazon, right? I knew Amazon, it was in the T Club, 1.2 trillion dollar valuation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at their revenue. So the trailing 12-month revenue is $670 billion.
With a B.
That's crazy. Crazy.
She controls the Democratic Party. She controls the donors while she's blatantly insider trading, and nobody's gonna do anything about it. Ask Biden. Okay, so he basically say she got control of how the bread come in. So everybody else fall in line because
I mean,
but there's a lesson in that too.
Yep.
He who has the gold, right? Controlling that money.
Golden rule: who has the gold makes the rules.
Salute, Ryan. You know what I mean? Going to Garrison Lake.
Get the hell out of here. Go
I got a few
away.
minutes. No, I'm good. But thank you. I'm good. We
People
about to wrap.
in South Jersey, they're building 1,500 million homes, all are worth 400K to 800K each. Hey, listen, man, I was looking at shore homes the other day. Like, do I need to cop me a shore house? And then I realized, no.
Get you a beach house.
No, I was looking. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was looking at a shore house. I'm gonna tell you, it's one reason and one reason only. I stopped looking, and it wasn't the price of the homes. I was going down like looking, and I saw like Jersey taxes, bro.
Oh yeah, Jersey taxes to the roof.
Shout out to y'all in Jersey though. Jersey is in your pockets, dog. Jersey taxes are out of control. The taxes will cost you more than a house. I'm chilling on Xanax and smoking haze. All right, Ryan, enjoy yourself, Ryan.
Wow.
How do you feel about prescription drugs if you're prescribed? I mean, if you're prescribed to you, I mean, doctor knows best. Amazon Jeff, the main ATL. Yeah, Amazon ran a play. Probably got to build a small group to do Pelosi trading on the side. Nvidia and chill. That's the Nancy way. I know my neighbors personally. They are my crew. 91-year-old black lady, an Italian dancer across the street, and the OnlyFans girl. That's an eclectic crew you got there.
What?
He said his neighbors are his crew. His neighbors are made up of a 91-year-old black lady.
I see it.
An Italian dancer, or an OnlyFans girl, Okay, what do y'all talk about when y'all kicking it?
Yeah, I was about to say, what are y'all parties like?
I bet you nobody ain't got a lot of kick it, man.
I was thinking about this the other day, right? It's important to know who your neighbors are and to be friends with them if you live in a house that you. So I thought about that because I don't know any of my new neighbors, right? I mean, high and by, but and even
because your next neighbor lives like a mile down the road.
Here he go. He put me on a platter again. But even in my last house, I didn't know. I mean, I knew my neighbors high and by type thing. I stay low key. But I remember growing up, we like knew each other, and I don't know if that exists now because I was asking other people, and they were like,
and it's sad, it doesn't. And like, I know you're both, we both uptown kids, Corey, North Philly, and we're just talking about the demographics of the city or the description of the city. We all knew our neighbors to some degree, at least. Now, nobody.
Yeah, I don't know none of them. Back in the day, I used to walk in my neighbor's crib. Well, what's going on? Yo, where the chicken at? Like, it was a thing, but no.
They go in their fridge, get some sugar.
Right in the fridge. I wouldn't because you can't see an entry and exit points. That's the other part, Don.
Excellent observation, Don.
Investing like Nancy seems like the path to that chicken. Call me Popeye. Jarrell has a great point. Yeah, that's how we get the people out there. Nothing but class, half my neighborhood. Okay, New Jersey has the top taxes in the country. Yo, no joke. I'm telling you, I was looking at the prices of the cribs. I ain't gonna lie. I was looking at Atlantic City. I want to buy something in Atlantic City for a lot of reasons, right?
You want a residence when you go to them concerts?
No, I used to own a property in Atlantic City. 1113 Monroe Avenue. Shout out to Monroe Avenue. It's gone now, but it was actually I didn't purchase it. It was an inherited property. But anyway, make a long story short, I always want to go back because I feel like when you look at the politics and the economy, have you guys been to AC lately? AC is in the shitter. Let's put it that way.
It's been there, and it's been that way for a while now.
So I'm always looking to buy things when places are in the shitter. It's always why Chester's been intriguing because Chester's been in the shitter my whole life, but I just don't know when they're ever going to get out of the shitter.
So why not go to Camden?
Also another shitter, shout out to all the shitter places. But here's the difference between Chester and Camden and all the rest. Because Camden and Atlantic City both have what? They still got them Jersey taxes.
Sure.
Them Jersey taxes are insane. Insane.
Thank you to Ramen for the super chat.
Absolutely. Amanda the Dancer invited me to 2 house parties this summer. Oh man, okay. The S-Dub reference, it never fails.
Never fails.
The black lady only hangs with me. She can drive but barely walk. Hey, listen, man, you got an eclectic crew out there, man. I don't know my neighbors like that. We cordial, but I don't know them like that. Same here. We cordial. What up? You all right? Everything cool? Bet it. That's kind of how it is. You can't even pump your own gas in Jersey. Yo, here's what's crazy about that. You can't, right? And
I actually enjoyed that, by the way.
Oh, listen, I used to drive over there just to get gas back when it was, before they raised the tolls up. Now it's a nickel to get in and out of there.
Yep.
Yo, by the way, side note, before we get out of here, last thing I want to say, toll booths got to be the biggest scam in the history of the country.
I wouldn't say that, but I get where you're going, and I do agree.
How do you just randomly say, you know what, to go from this to here, you got to pay a tax?
We don't have that much time. Let's say that for another episode.
I gotta do some history. I gotta do some research into the history of toll booths because I would get it if it's just from going from one state to the next. All right, cool. But parts of Jersey, dog, and that's another Jersey thing. Jersey be having tolls in random spots.
Well, part of Jersey's problem, and a lot of people have talked about it, is they've got so many different townships. I think it's like over 500 or something like that. And they all got their different level of politics and family and all kinds of stuff. And
also, what's up with y'all not being able to make a left-hand turn in Jersey too, man? All them roundabouts. And it's not like I got beef with Jersey. I love Jersey. It's just that Jersey is so close to Philly, so I'm always in Jersey, and I just like a lot of what goes on in Jersey bothers me. You know what I'm saying? I go to Jersey. I go to the Sam's Club in Jersey, so it is what it is, man. So Mecca wants to know: can you invest in private tolls?
That's a great question.
I don't know the answer.
So there are a lot of muni bonds who are raised a lot of times to fund toll expansion. So that is something to look about. By the way,
but you don't participate in the bond in the tolls, though. You participate in whatever that bond's rate of return.
That's about the closest way you're going to get to it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because they are private, so there is no sharing of revenue and profits.
Yes.
But you can get some of that interest, and it's tax free. So we need to do a show on muni bonds. By the way.
Okay. All right, you put it together because that's your field of expertise.
All right.
All right. So with that being said, man, he said, "Shout to Texas for the ability to make U-turns essentially anywhere on the road." I wonder how that affects the accidents there. Like, I'll have to look at the data and see what the data says about the accidents. But I know Jersey is ridiculous. Jersey's taxes are ridiculous. Jersey's them roundabouts are ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But shout to Jersey nonetheless, though, man.
Shout to Jersey.
I'll be there soon, man. I'll be there soon.
To the New Jerusalem.
I'll be there soon. But they are in a bad place right now. They love taxes there. They react to how to choose Congress to tackle reverse congestion tax. Yeah, congestion tax. That's a wild one too.
Yeah, that's New York.
Yeah, the congestion tax.
Yeah.
Taxes is wild, man.
All right, so I'm going to take Corey's advice. I'm out, y'all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all later.
Champ says Pennsylvania has the most overall. Listen, we're in Philly. We're not in Pennsylvania, and I know it sounds crazy, but we stay on this side. So Pennsylvania might have the most, but we got Philly, Pittsburgh, and the rest of it is Kentucky, what we like to call Pennsatucky. So maybe it is. Yeah, maybe it is. Pennsylvania, yeah. So we stay on this side, man. All right, man. We got to get out of here, man. With that being said, man, shout out to everybody pulled up, to talk about Pelosi. Make sure, last thing I'm going to say before we get out of here, make sure that you guys definitely join the village. You join the village by going to blackwealthrebels.com. That's blackwealthrebels.com. This is streaming in the village as well. But there's a lot of information in the village. Stack Sats or Die Trying. The next episode is actually already shot. It'll be uploaded probably to, matter of fact, I might try to get it out there tonight so y'all have early access because it doesn't drop till Friday. But if I give it to you guys like tonight, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's get that work out there. So shout out to everybody in the village. Episode 61 will probably drop. If not tonight, tomorrow for sure. I'll have episode 61 of Stacks Had to Die Trying. Everybody who's a member of the village gets it early. Also, you get access to other stuff. We got another video dropping this week that's already shot. So, a lot of stuff in the village that's back there. So go to blackwealthrebels.com and join that. Also, be on the lookout for our Saturday class. We're bringing Saturday school to the hood. So bthcamp.com is where you'll find information about that. It is what it is, man. And we also got another Cash Mob pod class coming up. You know what I'm saying? So look out for that. That's also in Philadelphia. So, do me a favor, hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTubing and stuff. But we love you guys. We'll see you guys later this week. Stay safe out there, y'all. Peace.